much less something cute. Okay.
Like when you say
I think
he rolls over or something. You know what I mean? Or he starts begging.
I think we got it here.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Very good. We're moving on.
All right. So we want to talk about the no trade clause and the incentive clause.
Yes.
And what we were thinking on, let's start with the incentive clause.
Incentive? Okay,
Mhm.
very good.
We were thinking that we would give an incentive clause,
Okay.
and that we would do 150,000 for if we go to the semis, and then 75K if we go to the championships. So, and since championships is a little bit unknown and risky, we thought we would front load and give more in the first in the for the semifinals than in the championship.
And what if they end up winning the championship game?
Then he would get 75 additional $1,000.
So 150 as an upfront, and then 75.
150 for the semifinals, and then 75 for championship. Which incentives are usually anywhere from 100,000 to 200,000. So, and then we can review that again after the 2 years to push it up to 200,000, which is the higher end of the incentive.
Okay. Would you be willing to do 85 if they won the championship?
I can raise it to 85.
Awesome.
All right, so 150K in semifinals, and then 85,000 in championships with a review after 18 months.
Very good.
Okay. So with the no trade, what were you thinking, or what is he thinking about this no trade in general?
Well, basically, Ryant does not want to have a no trade clause at all, and if we were to go into that, he wants to veto the list of teams that he would actually be put upon.
We were thinking the same thing, actually. We were thinking which the list of teams that he would be put upon would be considered a limited trade clause if you create that list. And it would be a mutually approved list of teams to trade to, and at the end of 2 years, we can make either rid of the trade clause or keep it.
Okay, so just because his language is so different from what the company, the team wants, and I just want to be really clear about this.
Sure.
He doesn't want to be traded unless it's in order to save his marriage. Is that what you're saying also, or
in order to save? Oh,
I know.
It's very interesting. Yeah. We have no. This is really about the business at hand. Like, I'm not sure what that means for him personally, but we were, initially thinking that we would be willing to do a limited trade clause, and the limited trade clause would be, we could make a list together of teams that he would potentially, go to. I mean, I think that's what you're saying as well.
Yes, I think so also.
Okay.
And so long as he is able to veto over which teams are put on a list, so long as we're creating this list together.
It's a mutually created list. It definitely wouldn't be that we would just create the list. But
okay, so he has say in
right.
If something doesn't feel
right.
Okay.
Right. And, and he would have to help us, and together we would have to create this in a reasonable time.
Okay.
We don't want this to kind of drag along.
Sure. We can put a time frame.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, and I guess we could work out the specifics of the time frame later, but we do agree that we have a limited trade clause with a mutually approved list of teams to trade to, and that this list would be made in a reasonable time.
Very good.
Okay. Are done. Let's just do a quick recap.
Okay.
And you can tell me yes or no.
Will do.
So we say salary at $3 million, a no tied salary, and then after 18 months we would review it to increase the salary and or rid it of the tied clause.
Correct.
So we were saying no signing bonus, that he received one in his old contract, and he approached us, and we usually give that when we're seeking players. We're also saying no injury clause, but we will provide extra training and support and counseling to make sure that he's reasonably stable to play, fit to play, and mentally fit to play as well. And then we would review that no injury clause after 18 months for an injury clause when we've seen some demonstration of some responsibility and stability. The photos and autographs, we had originally agreed, with the last contract, but this was before the incident and things were selling.
Mm-hmm.
But now that things aren't selling, we need to, we don't want to have to pay for something that is not selling. We want to see after 18 months if it's selling, and we think that's a reasonable time, to see if, once he gets back on the field, if people will start to buy his items again. So we review that again after 18 months. And then the no-cut clause after 18 months, we'll review his performance, but if during, let me back up on that. For the no-cut clause, we're not going to have a no-cut clause, but there is a contingency to it, where if he misses more than 3 weeks, then we would release his salary at that point. And then we would rid of that contingency after 18 months if he's coming to practice.
And once we get to the 18-month mark, what we negotiated that he would then receive.
Then we would get rid of that no cut.
And
he would not be cut if you miss.
So then we go to an unconditional clause.
Right.
Right. But in other words, what I'm hearing is the company really wants him to establish himself in the next 18 months, and that you will support him in all the efforts that he needs. But he needs to get through this 18 months and stay really clean and clear. Yeah,
really the trial stage. I mean, we believe that he'll do fine. I mean, we believe in him completely. But again, this is a business, and we just want to make sure. And we'll just monitor that, and then again provide a lot of support around that. So the length of his contract, we decided that it would be 2 years. We would review at the end of the contract and extend it for up to 4 years. And we just talked about the no trade and the incentive. So
very good.
So, do you think he'll be satisfied with this?
I hope so. I think it's a good deal. So let's hope that he's agreeable to all this.
Yes, and let's see Ryan back on the field doing what he does best.
Let's do
put
it.
all this stuff behind.
Let's put it all behind. Let's start selling tickets.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Thank you.